After Avengers Endgame came out, I just told myself, okay, I think they're just going to do an Iron Man and Thanos 2-pack from the final battle. It'll happen. It took 2 years, but it did happen. We finally have Snapping Tony Stark and Final Battle Armored Thanos. I didn't even get the BAF Armored Thanos, so I'm definitely happy to have this one. And come on, it's Iron Man from his most iconic scene, if not one of the most iconic scenes in all of cinematic history. So yes, I love this Iron Man and I love all the things he comes with, but honestly, he'll be displayed like this for most people, 90% of the time. This Thanos, though, let's get him out of the way first. I'm more of an Iron Man guy. I definitely love having this Thanos, though. But I do have to say, you may be wondering, hey, that's not the right arm. That's the normal BAF arm. And you'd be right. I wanted the option for him having like the normal armored arm and then him having the other arm. So I actually bought the the arm to the Build-A-Figure just so I could swap it out. And I'm happy I did. Because, you can get that figure pretty cheap. The figure that comes with it, I think his name's Tiger Hawk, if I'm not mistaken. Not familiar with the character. So yeah, you can just get that, and then you can give your Armored Thanos if you missed out on the BAF like I did, his pre-gauntlet look. And then just pop it off at the shoulder. You cannot pop it off. You cannot just make it interchangeable at the elbow, unfortunately. It's just different. Definitely be mindful, though. That might get worn out if you do it too much. But you do have the proper arm, and I'll keep him with this for the rest of the review. You do have the proper arm that he came with the Nano Gauntlet on it. And you do have a snapping hand, which is awesome. No stones, so that's great. Poor guy. But you do have a fist with stones. So, he did get powered up at some point, and he was charging up, so you do have that. But he also comes with a lot of different heads, too, which is super great. He also does come with the sword. You do get the sword as well. It's not just, with that arm. You do get the sword. But I'll probably keep him with the helmeted head, because I just like the helmeted Thanos look. That just looks real nice. But you have that head, but you pop it off, and you have the options of Smiling Head, which is from the original Thanos Build-A-Figure, which is the first time I've had this face, so I'm really happy about that. And then you have, Straight Face, which is also on the other Thanos. The 3-pack with Doctor Strange? You got that face. So you have that, and then you have a Dusting Head, where he's getting dusted. And let's show this one first. Because, interestingly, this one is actually designed a little differently. You can see it has a lot more space on the back. It's pretty hollow back there. So you can actually get him a little more hunched. Here, let's raise the camera up a bit. Or let's just zoom out. You can get him a little more hunched because of how he was hunched over when he lost. So you can actually replicate that look. And I do like the gray on the armor too, because it both doubles as just battle damage and, adding to the whole, getting dusted look. So it's a 2-in-1 thing. Hasbro really took into account the damage and the detail on his armor there. That is like an overlay part on his torso too. So yeah, we'll have him with the straight face for now, because that's kind of how he looked most of the time anyway, I guess. And if you were curious, you can put on older heads, like this angry head. You can put that on too if you want. So yeah, that's pretty much it with the accessories and things Thanos comes with. He does have a new arm over here without armor and with some damage over there. But all the rest is pretty much similar to the original Endgame Thanos BAF. Articulation's pretty good. I mean, it's a big chunky Build-A-Figure. You kind of know what to expect. He's got the nice hinges. He has nice up and down hinges too for the sword, for both, both hands, even though you don't really get that arm. His leg articulation's good. He's got really clicky knees. They're super clicky. But he does have skirt armor that gets out of the way for you. And then his ankles, you can tilt him, you can move him. He's got good Marvel Legends articulation. He's a good figure, man. So yeah, I'm really happy to have this Armored Thanos, for sure. But he's not the star of the show to me. He is not the star of the show. The star of the show is Tony Stark. Iron Man himself. So yeah, he comes with a lot. Let's get that out of the way. So what you see on him, he currently has an open hand, and of course, you gotta have the snapping hand. Gotta have it with the infinity stones and snapping. He's got all the paint for all the different stones. He also comes with a battle damaged head, which works great for this. No other battle damage on the rest of the armor, unfortunately, but still, that looks really nice. And then let's show off the alternate heads real quick. So you pop that off, and it pops off at the neck, and you have a helmeted head, which goes on and looks pretty good. And I do have to say, kind of a big unhelmeted head. Unfortunately, these heads just do not work on... they just don't work on other Iron Man figures and other, like a suited body. They're just way too big. These heads are huge. They just are. Like here, from my Ironheart review, you can just see the size difference. These heads are just way too big, unfortunately. Like, even just compared to the helmet. So, yeah, that is a shame that, you know, these heads are really big. I mean, this head does look good on this body. It does look good. But it's not going to look good on any other body, unfortunately. But if you're wondering, since it's, like, attached to the neck, can you separate them? You can. Because you get a normal, undamaged Tony head. I was really hoping I could use this on a body, like a suited body or something, but that just did not work out. And then his neck is somewhere. Where's his neck? I left his neck down there. There we go. So yeah, you've got the neck, and you can see how it just big old ball joint. You can just pop it back in because it's not going to work for any other body. So yeah, you got that. Really gorgeous sculpt though. It's such a shame it's so oversized. And then you have fist hands, because he's got to punch things from time to time, right? Stop focusing on that head sculpt. You're ruining my life. But yeah, you got some fist hands. Why did I say but yeah like that? But yeah. But yeah, man, you got some fists, man, but yeah. And then you have another open hand for the alternate. And then you have... I don't know if he came with a left and a right grip hand. But I'm actually using it on my other Mark 85. You can see it's a slightly lighter red. Because he also comes with a sword. And he comes with a shield. And I like using these for the normal retail Mark 85. Because, I mean, come on. This one will always be doing the snap. I want this one with some accessories. And that really works. The shield, I would put it over the hand like that. Because that's kind of how he had it. And when he did that in the movie, I'm like, I would love to have that in plastic. I just love that holographic shield. And yeah, finally have it in plastic. And then there's the sword too, that looks real nice. It's pretty similar to the one he also used in the Mark 50 too, so I guess you could double it if you want to give it to your Mark 50. Even though I don't know if the Mark 50 figures ever had a hand that could hold them. So yeah, you get those accessories. And you also, of course, because it's an Iron Man figure, got to get a couple blasts. So yeah, got to get a couple of those in there. So yeah, it definitely comes with a lot. But the base figure is pretty similar to what we've already received. You can see there's definitely some deco changes. Like one noticeable thing is darker red, lighter gold, darker gold. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. At least I think. Yeah, it's definitely a lighter gold. And here, let's change the head so you can definitely see. It definitely has a new upper torso to accommodate for that feature. And it has new, you know, heads and necks and everything. You can see definitely lighter gold. Actually, that's a lighter gold, darker red. Lighter red, darker gold. Yeah, I was right. Honestly, man, when it comes to the actual armor, I definitely prefer the original version. Also, lighter silver, like gunmetal silver. So that's something else, too. I don't like the colors on the new one as much. I just don't. Something about them. Just not as big of a fan of the colors. I definitely like the darker colors. I did review this guy when it came out if you want like a lot more look at the detail than what I'm going to do in this video. But you can see. Definitely lighter red, darker grays. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's just different. And I'm not sure if I'm that big of a fan of it. It's still a cool figure though, definitely. I mean, everyone's just going to want it as this though. It's one of those things where it's like, everyone's going to display it as this. Literally everyone. I don't think anyone's not going to display it like this. I mean, come on. His articulation, though, he's got nice joint at the head there, so you get a lot of range. Then the shoulders hinge up, kind of tight, little awkward. Definitely not as bad as like the modular armor Iron Man that just came out, but it's a little tight. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, hinge at the wrist. Thank goodness that's actually hinged. Thank goodness. Ball joint at the waist, ball hinge at the hip, thigh swivel, knee joint. Then ankles can move down, up, and a little bit of pivot. I think he was kneeling when he did the snap, right? I think he was on his knees. I think so. I mean, I'll have him standing up on my shelf, but he probably looks something like that is my guess. It's probably the pose. But yeah, man, it's snapping Tony Stark. It's I am Iron Man Tony Stark. This is a must-have if you're an Iron Man fan. You need this. You absolutely need this. If you're a Marvel Legends Iron Man collector and you collect all the MCU figures, this is something you need. And the Thanos is really cool, too. Let's get his ankles so he'll actually stand up. There we go. I really do like the Thanos, too. I'm definitely a big fan of finally having an armored Thanos. Because when the original BAF came out, I was like, man, I don't want any of the figures from that wave, but I want the armored Thanos because armored Thanos is cool. So yeah, there we go, guys. There is my look at the 2-pack, the Endgame Final Battle. Awesome set. I recommend it. I think it runs you like 50, 60 bucks, so it's definitely a little up there, but given how Thanos is like a BAF-sized figure and you get a ton of accessories, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it for sure. I know some of these Marvel Legends MCU things that aren't released in like the main Marvel Legends line. Some of them are overpriced for sure, but this one I feel like the price is pretty justified. It's a pretty good price for this with all you get, and you know, all the new parts too. There's a lot of new components to these guys. So yeah, there we go. Special thanks to the patrons of Patreon. I love you guys. Special shout out. You are your names. Thank you so much. Alrighty guys. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.